What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Brandon. It's been a minute. I took a little bit of time off over the holidays to not make videos, and then I got clobbered with COVID, and it's been pretty hard recovering from it. But I'm back, and today I'm going to bring you in and show you some new tools that we've got. Stick around. So here it is, guys. This is the Rage 5S 10-inch table saw by Evolution Tools. Now, in full disclosure, guys, I reached out to Evolution and they sent me this saw, but it was kind of a no-brainer for me to reach out to them because I already own a bunch of Evolution tools already and I absolutely love them. I'm going to go over with you real quick some of the reasons why I decided to saw, because this will cut multi-materials with one blade. It can cut metal. You can see that it's a 15 amp saw. It's got a 10-inch blade. It'll also cut 1/4-inch mild plate steel, wood, and have nails in the wood. So this kind of like does everything that I need to do and more. But I also like that it folds up because my shop space is a premium here. And you can see I've got other Evolution tools here. I've shown this many times in my videos, as well as this drill press stand that I made. This thing is awesome. I use this all the time. But I have some upcoming projects and I wanted to be able to do them with this saw. I'll kind of show you everything as we go and how it's packaged. So there's the 10-inch combination blade. It'll cut steel, aluminum, wood, and plastic. Now, I mean, that is cool for me in this workshop because, as you can see, I mean, we do metal and wood. Mostly metal, but we can cut metal with this too. So this will be good for like ripping down aluminum plate. And that's a project that I have coming up that we're going to use this saw for. I just flip the box over, guys, and just kind of like raise the box off the stand here. I can say it's packaged well, that's for sure. Well, that's kind of pleasantly surprising. It even comes with a push stick. That's pretty cool. Alright, so the first thing we got to do, guys, is we got to adjust this. So this is all loose, as you can see right here. So this is step one in the instructions, that we have to tighten this up so that it's flush with this, and then we got to make this indicator right here flush with the 0. So all we got to do is just bump this that way, and then tighten up that end. It comes with an Allen key to do this, so there we go. See, we've got that on 0, and now I just got to tighten up this and make sure it's all flush on top. And there's 4 little screws underneath to tighten this. And these are those screws, guys, on the underside that I was tightening down to make flush. So here's the next step, just so we're clear on the saw orientation. I've got, this is where you'd put like spare saw blades. So that is to my left, and then you're gonna put that with the second hole. It's the only way it'll line up. And then you've got another one that you're going to put through here, and then these are going to face up. You can do that here, and you can do that here. And this is the hardware that you're going to use. Bolt, a nut, and a washer on each one. I'm not too big in reading directions. If I can like watch somebody else do it, I enjoy it that much more. So hopefully this will help other viewers that decide to get this saw as well. Sometimes, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and you can just watch me do this, and it just might make it that much easier for you, you know? But I'm real excited. This last project that I did, which was building that corner floating shelf that I did for my grandson, and I'll put a link to that up above. That's kind of what prompted me to want to use this. Plus, I've got some other projects coming up where I need to be ripping some aluminum for some projects. I don't want to give everything away, but yeah, we're going to be using this saw a fair amount in some upcoming projects, and it's going to work really nice, whereas I don't have to go back and forth from a wood blade to a metal blade. I can get it all done with one tool. And I'm just going to kind of snug everything up. I'm not going to go nuts yet, just so we know we got it right. Then you're going to have a little bag of like all black hardware. Grab a couple of these and just poke these into these angled up pieces. Then we grab two of these straight ones which have the flat on them, and those go into this end. There. Alright. We're gaining. I like how this is built so far. Pretty nice looking unit. It's well assembled. I like how everything has like lock nuts. Alright, so the next component that we're going to use is going to be this one that has like this little latch thing on it. And we're going to have this little bar that comes with it. So set that on there like that. And grab a bolt and a nut. It's going to be the one with the Phillips head. It's like 50 millimeters long. And drop it right down through. So this is what you're going to have next for hardware. You're going to have two of these long shoulder bolts, two of these spacers, and two of these nuts. This is pretty straightforward. You're going to take this piece that we just built, and you're going to have the latch facing you on the left, and then you're just going to put the bolt through here, put a spacer on it, and then push it through this little hoop piece. And these are components 3 and 4. And put a nut on it. Then do the same thing for the other side. You can't tighten this up too tight because this has to pivot. So like that. Stick it through just a little bit. Put your little spacer on. And slide it all through. Again, like I said, you're just snugging this up. You're not going real tight with this because this has to latch. You see how this little latch piece is going to work? So this piece has to be able to move. So just tighten this enough just so that the bolt threads start getting into that little nylon piece in there. See that little nylon, that little white nylon in there? Just basically tighten the nut down enough so that it gets onto that nylon, and that'll prevent this from vibrating loose. And this is going to be a 13 millimeter nut. I don't know about you, if you guys have had, any of you guys have had COVID or not, but holy, yeah, it was pretty brutal. It hit me pretty hard. I know some people had like loss of taste and all that. I didn't have that. I didn't have loss of taste, but I did have just super tired. I ran a real high fever. I had a fever of like 102.7. I was sweating real bad. And I kind of haven't had an appetite for a while. So leading up to it, I had kind of like a stomach ache for about a week. And I just thought I might have had like a stomach bug. And yeah, I just have not had any energy for probably going on like, probably close to a month now. It's like hard getting out of bed. And when I do get out of bed, I feel kind of like foggy. And yeah, it's not a lot of fun, that's for sure. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty much, guys, just flushing the bolt up flush to the lock nut. You see how the bolt is pretty much just flush to that lock nut, and that way it won't come loose. That's nice and flush there, and that seems to be about the right tension. So and now we're just going to put an end cap in there. And there's one there, and one there. Oh yeah, so that must be how the saw folds up. It's pretty slick. So we're going to use 2 more of the longest shoulder bolts, 2 more of those plastic spacers, and 2 more of those nuts. And the way this is going to get oriented, okay, so the saw is still upside down. This part is now facing up, and this latch right over here is facing away from me, and the knob to raise the saw up and down, the big hand wheel, is on the far side. So put this latch on the side as the knob, okay, and it's going to go through just like this. Pretty straightforward. You're going to tighten these down the same way, just flush the nut up to it. I'll bring in the other side so you can see. Okay, you see how this one is too? Now I'm just putting the little spacer through. and putting the nut. And this is where the hand wheel is, right here. And the latch is just like this. Okay, so this is the smaller of the hoops. That's what you're attaching to this side of this bracket. That one's flush. And now that one's flush. Yep, that works real nice. We're almost done, guys. So the next part is these, the ones that have these little feet things on them. So you're going to grab this, and you should be running out of parts now. And you should have another hoop that has 2 holes in it, just like that. You're going to stick the side of the holes through the side where those little feet are. There we go. There. Then you're just going to grab four bolts and 4 nuts. Nuts go to the inside, yep. We got a couple end caps left, the only 2 that are left. We're going to push them in the ends of this piece here. The ones that we just were working on. There we go. Okay, we're still using those same long bolts and those spacers again, guys. When you're doing it, make sure you're doing it like this. I just learned the hard way, okay? So, again, the knob to the saw is on the far side of me. This piece where the legs are to my left. Now, with this laying like this, now you can put these through. And make sure this is unlatched and that it's up in the air like this, okay? And you'll see why here in a second. Not a big deal. It'll be pretty straightforward to you. So now you've just got 2 of these big shoulder bolts left, 2 of the spacers, and 2 of the nuts. And what you're going to do is raise this up and line it up to this. See, so you're going to make these 2 come together now. That hole here and in this. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Getting a little tight now because everything is like, all the play is starting to come out of it. So you might have to force things a little bit now. There we go. There we go. See how that works, guys? Just kind of going over everything right now while I have it up here. Making sure I've got everything tightened up enough. I see a couple of them that I didn't tighten enough. Wow, that's slick. Okay, so now it's got a set of wheels we can put on it while it's still upside down. And the wheel hardware will come in its own little baggie with a shoulder bolt also. Take one of these, and they go from the inside to the out. Alright, that's easy enough. That and a big washer. There's only 2 size washers, let me show you. So all there is for hardware for this is 2 axles, 2 nuts, 2 big washers, and 2 little washers. So big washer goes next. Just like that. Then your wheel. Then you can see it's going to have a washer, small washer. Then the nut. And again, you're just going to lightly tighten these up so that the wheels will still spin freely. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. And just snug it up a little bit so that the wheel still spins. Here we go. Perfect. I'm really loving this, guys. So the next thing we got to do is we still got a lot of setup to do. We got to set what's called the riving knife, which is this right here. We got to put the blade on it. So we'll do that next. You know, I figure this would be kind of helpful, like I said, for anybody that's looking to buy this saw or to use it or to, set it up. This will be a good, a good instructional video for you guys. And we'll also do a video of actually using it. So we got to take this out. just by turning it a quarter of a turn. We'll set it aside. Then we got to raise the blade to the highest position. Wow, this turns smooth. You can see as I'm turning that, the whole blade mechanism is coming up. Okay, so that's all the way up. Then loosen the riving knife, fixing bolt several turns and raise it to its highest point. So before we go too far, we got to put the blade on because we also need the blade to be able to adjust that riving knife. So let's see, it's a 255 by 25.4 millimeter arbor. It looks like. Looks like the blade is 2 millimeters wide. 24 teeth per inch. No, not 24 teeth. Just not 24 teeth per inch. It's just 24 teeth. And it'll cut wood with nails, and it spins between 4,500 RPM. And we got some tools on the side of the saw for this adjustment. Alright, and this bolt back here for this riving knife is 10 millimeter. It says to loosen this up a few turns. So this space between here and here has to be 3 to 5 millimeters, and it's got to be 10 millimeters from here to the top of the blade. Alright guys, we're good. We're between 3 and 5 millimeters here, and to set the 10 millimeters here, they show a level line coming off this center bolt hole right there. So I've got a little small level. I'm leveling that up, and I have a 10 millimeter wrench, and I'm holding the 10 millimeter wrench opening right at the bottom of the level, and it is exactly by sighting down it at the tip of that tooth right there. So that's 10 millimeters in height. I'm sure there's tons of other ways you can do it, but this is a nice, quick, accurate way to do it. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a different angle now. So I've got it leveled across, and I'm just holding my wrench right underneath it, and it's a 10 millimeter wrench, and you can see that tooth is kind of like in line with the sawtooth of the blade. So here's our 10 millimeters. And now we are okay to reinstall this. Quarter of a turn to tighten it. Well, I like how this blade guard goes on. All you do is literally just put it on, and all the guts of it just remain all together. Just like that. You just literally just spin it. There, and that's it. It's literally on there. This fence slides wicked smooth. Man, I can't wait to use this. Now, the next thing we got to do is we got to make sure that this rip fence is running parallel with our blade, because we can't have our blade here and the fence cocked off like this, and then it's going to rip at an angle. So we're going to use just a straight edge. Here I'm just using a framing square, and then I'm going to bring it. Wow, we got a little adjustment to make, not much. Now we want the straight edge to contact the blade evenly all the way across. So bring it over, keep bringing it over. Okay, if you look at that, and you'll see that the front of the blade made contact before the rear of the blade. Got a tooth touching the edge of that right there. And then way back there, you can see a little bit of a gap right back here. Well, we don't want that gap. We got to adjust that fence a little bit to make it perfect. It's close, but it's not perfect. And to adjust that, just going to loosen these a little. And tap this over and snug it. This is going to take just trial and error, you know, guys. You know, you're trying to get this precise. This isn't something that you're going to do quickly. You're going to have to just take your time. The more time you put in this to get it right, the better and more accurate it's going to be. Almost. That's super close right now. You know, for the stuff that I'm doing, probably would be accurate enough. You know, I'm not making cabinets, but if I were, I could get this more accurate. Oh, I moved it a lot that time. I might have gone too much. I'm going to take this fence off so I'm not fighting it so you can see better. I think that's it, guys. Okay, so look at the distance between that tooth there and that straight edge. We go to the back of the saw. Then we'll bring a tooth up. Right there. See that right there? I think we got it. Yeah, I think we are good right there. I think we're all adjusted parallel now. This thing's pretty slick. Man, this thing's had a lot of adjustments. I love it. Oh, and it's got a material holder. You put this in here to hold your material down. That's slick. Huh. That's pretty cool. It comes with a push stick to push your material through the saw. You just put this on here like this and run it down to the saw on the side here, and you can hook it up to your dust collection system. Alright guys, now that it's all together, I'm actually quite amazed at some of the features that this saw has, and let me show you a couple of them that actually really surprised me. So you can pull this out just like this, so you have an extension to this wing. You also have a cross-cut sled that's built right into the saw. Check that out. That's pretty slick. And then if you come over here, there's a latch underneath. You can pull these wings out and extend this saw out even further so you can rip at least 2 foot wide material. This thing is like totally incredible. I'm loving this. So yeah, you can rip a pretty large piece of wood with this, but I really like that it has the cross-cut sled right here that you can just put your material in there, feed it through the saw, make your cut, and be done with it. That's pretty impressive. Let's fire this thing up and see what it does. So I like the buttons. I like that they're large. If something happens, it's nice, it's big, you can get to it. Guys, if you want to fold the saw up, super easy. Watch. Just press this latch right here with your foot and just lift it up. That's it. Then you can wheel it to wherever you want to wheel it to. Then when you get it to where you want it, just push down here. There you go. It's all set up. You don't have to break your back or anything doing it. How slick is that? I love this. Yep, I sure do. Yep, this thing is slick. And you just wheel it to wherever you want to go. Yep, when space is a premium, this is the way to do it, guys. Just like that. You don't have to bust your back. And I like that it's got this little cord thing here so you can wind your cord up, you know, the cord management. And that's all there is to it, guys. If you're wondering about any of the tools that you see me using, I'll have links down below. If you're wondering what I'm working on for It Makes It Up to YouTube, you guys can catch me on Facebook and on Instagram. Until next week, guys, I will see you then. We'll be breaking out this saw. We'll be doing a lot more stuff with it, cutting up some aluminum, and we're going to be doing some aluminum welding projects in the real near future. New videos every Friday, guys. I will see you then. Take care. Stay safe. See you next weekend. Bye.